Hey, this is MrAddOil again, helping you fight today for your better tomorrow. So today we're going to talk about software sales and whether this will be a good career fit for you. First, we're going to talk about who this video is for. This video is for recent college graduates and also people who are thinking about changing their careers from maybe accounting, finance, or a different background, and they're exploring sales, specifically software sales. Before we do that, I'd like to give you a quick rundown on my background before I got into software sales. So I recently, not recent, it's been like 2-3 years, but I graduated from college two to 3 years ago, and I majored in philosophy and linguistics. Not the greatest college degree versus someone who came out with like a business or like a computer science degree. So I double majored in philosophy and linguistics, humanities major, right? So when I came out, I really didn't qualify for those more fancier roles right out of the gate. So I was just exploring my options of whether I should get into like operations, a nonprofit, or into teaching. And I live in San Francisco, so I realized that these other career options, they weren't really viable because I have bills to pay and these other career options did not meet them. So I explored software sales as this option. And then at the time, I was just doing a lot of online research on what makes sense long term, like what type of skill sets will really benefit me throughout my career. And then sales in general was one of the top ranking skills when I do a Google search. So I explored sales, and then within that subset, especially in San Francisco, I happened upon software sales. So what is software sales? So basically, you're selling software as a service. It's also known as SaaS sales, right? So a company, you can think of big companies like Google, Facebook, LinkedIn. These companies, what they're selling or providing consumers is their software as a service, a subscription service. So your role, if you get into software sales, is you're acting as a sales rep and you're trying to get business or get your prospects, accounts, people to subscribe to your software and pay a monthly or an annual fee. And that's how these SaaS companies establish or model their business. And what type of software sales business models are out there? So there's a few, right? First, there's self-service, meaning that they're probably targeting consumers, or they're targeting like smaller businesses, and they're providing their software initially as a freemium or some sort of trial. So think Evernote, think Shopify, think Spotify. These software companies, they provide their service as a freemium or an extended free trial. And then in this type of business, you would view it as an inbound sales model, meaning that there's always a constant flow of leads coming in to the business where you don't have to go out, cold call, do cold emails, or do other ways of prospecting and lead generation to get these leads. Next, there's transactional type of sales. This involves high ticket closing, like what Dan Locke does, right? So this is a step up from self-service where the product itself is more expensive than like a couple dollars per month. It could be close to $1,000 or above, or that product price tag is around $2,000, $5,000 and above. So for these type of sales or these type of products or services, a prospect, you or me or some business owner, they would want to get on a call with someone, kind of talk through in a bit more detail about their pain points and whether this product or solution that they're trying to purchase makes sense. So in these transactional sales type of environments, it usually takes like, you can close someone on one call, or it can take 1 to 3 days or even a week. That might be like the maximum time for that sales cycle, for that lead to close. The next level after transactional sales would be mid-market sales. So the sales cycles in this segment, they're usually around 1 to 3 months, maybe a little bit. It might bleed over to 4 months into another quarter, but here the deal sizes are at least 10K minimum, and it ranges up to 50K on the higher end, or 50 to 100K on the higher end. But you'll be working between 10K to 100K. 100K deals, they're kind of pseudo enterprise, and they're like on the higher end of mid-market sales. So here you will be targeting startups or businesses that have at least 50 employees, they have some sort of revenue, or they have some sort of funding. It could be, they can have funding from a debt round, or they can have Series A, but they have some sort of money, and then that qualifies them to buy products or services at least a minimum of 10K. And lastly, the last tier of software sales is enterprise sales. And this is, if you're really considering a sales career, this is where you want to evolve or land up into. Because in enterprise sales, it's harder, it's more complex. The deals cycles, the sales cycles take from a minimum of 6 months to 1 year, and even branching or bleeding into like 2-year type of sales cycles for a deal to close. But with the pros and cons of this type of sales comes great rewards, right? So typically the average or the minimum deal size in this segment will be at least 100K, and it goes up to like multi-million dollars, and in some companies it can get close to like $1 billion, right? Those will be for big enterprises, maybe like Google, Oracle, where there are those multi-million dollars, close to $1 billion deals. And this is where you want to get into if you want to stay in sales, or you're thinking about sales as a long-term career and you're really motivated by money, because it is a lucrative business. Meaning that, let's say you close a 100K deal. Usually the commission payout for that is 10%, so you're getting 10K on that. So if you close $1 million deal, you get 10% of that, which is 100K. And then the average salary for enterprise sales executives will be like, if you are just the medium type of sales talent, you can make close to $250,000 or $250,000 as an enterprise account executive or enterprise sales executive. So it's a really lucrative type of role to be in. And that kind of concludes this part of the series of whether you should consider software sales as a career for you. Next up, we'll talk about the typical career progression in software sales. But before that, I hope you will have a nice Merry Christmas. It's holiday season. I'm about to go on holidays for 2 weeks, but I'll be pre-recording these videos so that in the next 2 weeks you'll get steady, consistent content from me on this series on whether software sales will be a good career fit for you if you're a recent college grad, or if you're changing careers at this stage in your career. So next up, we're going to talk about the typical career progression of software sales. And again, this is MrAddOil, helping you fight today for your better tomorrow. See you in the next video.